In the quiet hours before dawn on a cold February morning in 2026, Nancy Guthrie sat at the small wooden desk that had witnessed decades of her life in Tucson. The desert outside her Catalina foothills home was still, wrapped in that hushed blue light that comes just before sunrise. At 84, her hands trembled slightly as she began to write, choosing each word with care. This was not a routine note or a holiday card. It was something deeper, something she had carried in her heart for years. Addressed to her youngest daughter, Savannah Guthrie, the letter unfolded as a gentle confession. Nancy admitted she had often appeared stronger than she felt, smiling through hardships and protecting her children from her private fears. Now, sensing time's fragility, she wanted honesty to replace silence and love to be expressed without reservation. When concern turned to national attention days later, that same home became the center of anxious attention when Nancy was reported missing. What began as concern from family quickly turned into a widely followed search across Tucson and beyond. Local authorities, including the Pima County Sheriff's Department, coordinated efforts while community members offered support in any way they could. Savannah, known to millions as co-anchor of Today, stepped out of her professional role and into the vulnerable space of a daughter pleading for help. Standing beside her siblings, Annie and Cameron, she recorded a heartfelt message asking for prayers and assistance. Churches opened their doors for vigils, neighbors shared memories, and strangers across the country offered encouragement. In those tense days, hope and worry lived side by side, each sunrise bringing both possibility and uncertainty. A life that began in Kentucky. Long before headlines and television studios, Nancy Ellen Long was simply a small-town girl from Fort Wright, Kentucky. Born on January 27, 1942, during the shadow of World War II, she grew up in a modest home filled with structure and warmth. Fort Wright, perched just across the Ohio River from Cincinnati, was a community where church bells marked the rhythm of life and neighbors knew one another by name. As the eldest child of William and Jane Long, Nancy learned early the quiet responsibility of leadership. She attended St. Agnes Elementary and later graduated from Notre Dame Academy in 1959. Teachers remembered her curiosity and love for storytelling. Even then, she believed words had the power to connect people, to soften sorrow, and to celebrate ordinary joys with extraordinary grace. Discovering her voice at the University of Kentucky, Nancy's passion for writing led her to the University of Kentucky in the early 1960s, where she studied journalism. College was a transformative chapter, not only academically, but personally. She joined the staff of the student newspaper, the Kentucky Colonel, eventually serving as society editor. The role suited her perfectly. She had a gift for observing small details and turning them into meaningful narratives. During those years, she also met Charles Errol Guthrie on a blind date arranged by friends. Their first outing, a lively Wildcats basketball game, set the tone for a relationship grounded in laughter and shared faith. Nancy later admitted she felt an immediate connection, but tried to maintain composure. She graduated with her degree, proud of earning an education at a time when many women felt pressured to set aside ambition for marriage alone. Marriage, motherhood, and a growing family. Nancy and Charles married on December 28, 1963, in a ceremony that blended elegance with simplicity. Charles's career as a mining engineer soon carried them across states and even overseas. In 1971, while living in Melbourne, Australia, Nancy gave birth to their youngest child, Savannah Clark Guthrie. The arrival felt like a perfect completion to their growing family, which already included Annie and Cameron. 2 years later, they settled permanently in Tucson, Arizona, drawn by professional opportunity and the desert's quiet beauty. Their burnt adobe home near the Catalina Mountains became a place of celebration, homework sessions, and evening prayers. Nancy devoted herself wholeheartedly to motherhood, volunteering at schools and church, organizing gatherings, and creating a household where faith was as present as laughter. Her children would later say that love was the atmosphere they breathed. Resilience in the face of loss. Life shifted dramatically in 1988 when Charles passed away unexpectedly at just 49. Nancy, only 46 at the time, faced the profound challenge of guiding 3 teenagers through grief while navigating her own heartbreak. Friends recall that she leaned on faith and routine to steady the family. Determined to provide stability, she returned to work in public relations at the University of Arizona. The position not only offered financial security, but also allowed her daughters to pursue their education with fewer burdens. Colleagues admired her composure and dedication, noting that her journalism training sharpened her communication skills. At home, she remained a steady presence, encouraging her children's dreams. For Savannah, that encouragement proved pivotal, inspiring her to follow a similar path into broadcasting and eventually into the national spotlight. Pride in a daughter's journey. When Savannah rose through the ranks of journalism and eventually became co-anchor of Today in 2012, Nancy watched with quiet pride. She had once told her daughter that education opened invisible doors, and now she saw that truth unfolding before her eyes. Despite health challenges that limited travel, she celebrated milestones from afar and attended family events whenever possible. Grandchildren brought new joy into her life, filling her Tucson home with drawings, laughter, and stories. Even as high blood pressure and heart complications required careful management, she rarely complained. Instead, she spoke about gratitude. Gratitude for resilience, for faith, and for the enduring bond between mother and child. Behind the public image of strength, however, her letter revealed moments of self-doubt and fears she had long kept private. The honest words she finally shared. In her letter, Nancy admitted that she sometimes confused endurance with invincibility. She wrote about worries after Charles's passing, financial concerns, questions about whether she had done enough, and the loneliness that often accompanied widowhood. She confessed that she shielded her children from many of those anxieties, believing protection was part of love. To Savannah, she expressed deep admiration not only for professional accomplishments, but for kindness and integrity. She wished she had been gentler with herself, allowing space for grief rather than burying it beneath responsibility. The tone was not regretful, but reflective, shaped by decades of perspective. If the letter were to stand as her final message, she wanted it to convey authenticity, that real strength includes vulnerability, and that faith shines brightest when paired with honesty. A legacy of quiet influence. Nancy's passing left a profound void, yet her influence continues in subtle, powerful ways. In Tucson, neighbors remember her warmth and organizational talent within church and community circles. Former colleagues speak of her professionalism and calm wisdom. Most importantly, her children carry forward the values she modeled: faith, perseverance, and compassion. Savannah has spoken openly about how her mother's resilience shaped her own response to challenges, reminding audiences that public success often rests on private sacrifice. Nancy's life stretched from the rolling hills of Kentucky to the desert sunsets of Arizona, marked by devotion to family and community rather than headlines. The letter she left behind does not feel like an ending, but a bridge, connecting generations through truth and tenderness, ensuring her story remains alive in every act of kindness inspired by her memory.